Romance blossoms when two long-lost friends reunite.
Love wasn't expected, but it showed up.
He said, I just really love her.
But one afternoon, terror comes knocking, and their love is ripped apart.
Somebody just came in and got my boyfriend, and they had a gun to my head and they just shot him.
All at once, her life was tore down.
This was a complete assassination.
A lucky break puts police on the killer's trail.
The cameras, they seen it all. We seen it all.
But it's only when detectives track him down that they learn the deadly secrets behind the shooting.
Would you rather not talk to us about this?
Yeah, I would.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon on November 12th, 2014, and most of the country is already thinking ahead to the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday and the fact that Christmas is just around the corner. But for one family in Cleveland, Ohio, the holidays will never be the same.
Cleveland EMS is fire. What is your emergency?
The lady that was calling was very distraught, very anxious.
Ma'am, take a breath. I can't understand a word you're saying. Somebody just came in and got my boyfriend.
The caller is 30-year-old Pamela Lawson.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened. I don't know. Somebody just came and knocked on the door. Okay. And he had a gun to my head.
What she described sounded like a home invasion type scenario where an armed intruder forces their way into the residence.
He asked me for my boyfriend. Okay. And I told him he was in the bathroom.
At that point, the male pushed her out of the way, opened the bathroom door, and then fired the gun.
According to Pamela, the shooter then fled, leaving her boyfriend, 31-year-old Michael Days, bleeding on the bathroom floor.
I need you to look and tell me if he's conscious. Michael. Michael. Is he awake? His eyes are open. I don't see anything. Is he conscious? I don't know. Is he breathing? I don't know.
The dispatcher quickly routes emergency personnel to the scene, then turns her attention back to Pamela.
Okay, listen to me. Stay calm, okay? We're going to help him.
Our dispatchers are trained when incidents like this are reported to guide the witnesses or whoever is there on the scene calling this in, how to help the victim before the emergency medical crews get there.
Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions, okay? I want you to pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 2 inches deep, okay?
She continued on the call with the dispatcher, giving her the instructions. You could hear her performing CPR.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing really, really good, okay?
With first responders racing to the scene, will Pamela's valiant effort be enough to keep Michael alive?
My God!
Cleveland native Michael Days spent his childhood looking up to his older brother, Dre.
Dre and Michael were so close, even though they had the difference in the years. He was about 8 years older than Michael.
There you go. There you go.
They did everything together. They always played basketball together. It's an inseparable bond between brothers, for real.
But in 1999, the brothers' bond was tragically cut short.
Dre's best friend was living with Dre and Michael and his mom.
He was a troubled teen who had been kicked out of his home.
Michael's mom took him in and let him live with them for a period of time.
But neither Dre nor his mother could anticipate just how dark the young man's demons truly were.
The troubled teen came up behind Dre and shot him in the back of the head, point blank.
The family never did figure out why his best friend killed Dre.
Over the next decade, Michael and Dre's mother, Norna Days, blamed herself for Dre's death.
You have to imagine for Norna, this had to be indescribable.
But Michael made it his mission to save her from despair.
It was difficult when Dre was murdered. She bounced back because she had Michael.
The tragedy also left Michael with an abiding love and appreciation for his mother, as well as the rest of his friends and family.
His mom and my nieces and nephews, he always was willing to help. Always.
There was never a time where I needed something and he couldn't help me out. He gave out love, compassion. He gave out his spirit. He wasn't the type of guy who just take from you and didn't give you something in return.
And when Michael took a job at Cleveland International Airport, his gentle, generous nature quickly caught the eye of coworker Maya Green.
Be careful though, it's a madhouse.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. After you get off, how about we go to dinner?
Okay,
that all right?
sounds good.
Michael ended up asking Maya out, and the couple started dating.
And in 2008, a few years into Michael and Maya's loving relationship, Maya found out she was pregnant.
At one point in time, she was told she couldn't have a baby. So she was a miracle baby.
When he found out he was going to be a dad for the first time, he was excited. He really was.
But shortly after their daughter's birth, the couple received some devastating news.
Michael's daughter was born with a severe case of Turner syndrome, which is where a woman is born with only one X chromosome.
She couldn't talk. She couldn't feed herself. Her growth rate was way slower than a normal baby.
Round the clock here, she couldn't do anything for herself. She was not a child that was left unattended in a bassinet or a crib. If they wasn't holding her, I was. We kept a close eye on the baby. She was just a lovable child.
Despite her condition, Michael loved his daughter with all his heart.
He took all of that with stride because that's his baby. He did everything he needed to do for her.
He'd make her smile, rock her, walk with her if she's crying and couldn't be comforted.
But while Michael relished the role of father, the stress of being a mother to a special needs child proved too much for Maya.
Michael, he tried to make it with the baby's mom, but she liked to run the street. She liked to party. He didn't run bar to bar, things like that. If he did anything, it was at his house, mom's house, his cousin's house. You know, he didn't run from bar to bar.
She ended up leaving them. So Michael had sole custody.
He loved the fact that it was this little girl that needed him. She would put her hand on his face, or she always smiling at him, always smiling at that man. That let us know that she really loved him.
It was really a beautiful relationship between the father and the daughter.
However, in 2012, a chance encounter with an old friend, 30-year-old Pamela Lawson, would soon have Michael caring for another person in need.
Oh my Lord.
Michael and Pamela had been friends since they were kids, and they ran into each other totally by accident one day.
How you been?
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm cool.
You good?
Yeah. Kind of in a rush though, so I gotta go.
Wait. That looks real painful. Are you okay?
It's my husband.
She claimed that she had been beaten up by her husband.
Michael saw that Pamela was upset and talked to her about it and learned that she was having problems.
I hate to hear that.
I really want to leave him. But I mean, I got my own kids to worry about, you know? And we don't have anywhere to go. I don't know what to do.
Well, Pam, I hate to hear that, but if you ever need a place to stay, I got you. You can stay with me and my daughter.
Oh my God.
He took her and her children in, took her off the streets because she was about to be homeless.
He told her, you can stay with me, bring your kids, you're more than welcome.
Just a few weeks after running into each other, Pamela and her children had moved in with Michael. In return, this hardworking single dad got some much-needed help.
Pamela worked nights for a cleaning company, so she could help out with Michael's daughter during the day while he was working at his new factory job.
She went to a handicap school, and it's like some days Pam would take her to the doctors. She was happy doing that. Pam considered Michael's daughter being her own daughter. And Michael's daughter and my granddaughter was like sisters.
However, the children weren't the only ones bonding.
Neither Pamela nor Michael were looking for a relationship, but living under the same roof and raising the kids together, it wasn't long before they developed feelings for one another.
They hit it off. They'd laugh and joke and go out and have dinner. And Michael was good to her.
After years of heartbreak and struggle, it looked as if Michael and Pamela finally had a shot at happiness.
He's like, I really like her, Gabe. I think I want to marry her. This is the first time I've ever heard my cousin utter them words, ever. I was like, wow, okay. Well, good. I'm happy. I can't wait to meet her.
It was one of those things. They wanted to be a family.
But just as Michael and Pamela appeared ready to embark on a bright future together, tragedy struck the Days family a second time.
On November 12, 2014, Pamela Lawson placed a frantic call to 911. She told dispatchers that someone came and asked for her boyfriend by name and went to the bathroom where Michael was located and shot him.
Our dispatcher gives instructions on how to give chest compression and do CPR until emergency medical crews arrive.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, Michael, come on, please, baby. Come on. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. 3, 4, 1.
Sheriff's office! Yes, I'm in here. I need help.
When emergency medical crews arrive, they saw the lady performing CPR on the floor of the bathroom, and they took over from there.
It was obvious that his condition was critical. His breathing was shallow.
First responders fight to save Michael's life.
They transported Michael to the Metro Health Hospital.
As Michael is rushed into surgery, major crimes investigators arrive at the Days residence. It doesn't take them long to realize this isn't your run-of-the-mill shooting.
It was very bold and very brazen for someone to burst into somebody's house in broad daylight and shoot somebody in cold blood like that.
After years of ups and downs, it looked as if 31-year-old Michael Days and 30-year-old Pamela Lawson had finally found happiness.
Creating a blended family might have had its challenges at first, but ultimately, Pamela and Michael made it work for the best.
But their hopes for the future are now in jeopardy. An ambulance has just rushed a critically injured Michael to the hospital after an intruder shot him in the chest at point-blank range. In an effort to better understand what transpired, Cleveland detectives turned to the crime's sole eyewitness, Pamela.
She was crying up a storm. And meanwhile, there were kids in the other room, and they were trying to determine whether or not there were family members that they could contact to come and get these kids.
Pamela had a daughter and 2 sons, and then also Michael's daughter was present.
The children didn't hear or didn't see anything. They didn't come out until the gunshot.
Which means that unless Michael pulls through, Pamela's account is all detectives have to go on.
Ms. Lawson, we know you've been through a lot, but we really need to get your statement.
Okay, I'll try.
We took Pamela back to the police station that day to get a statement from her. It's pretty standard operating procedure. It gives them a little bit of time to calm down, to relax a little bit.
With Pamela at the station and the children picked up by relatives, CSIs began processing the scene.
Our crime scene guys are very good and very thorough. So they took blood swabs from the interior of the house at several different locations. And although we know now that Michael was the only one shot, we didn't know at that time if Michael had injured his assailant, or maybe the assailant was injured and bleeding also.
They attempted to swab the door to see if there was touch DNA from the person who forced his way in. Right next to the toilet, there was a fired bullet that came to rest on the ground. There was also a spent .40 caliber Smith & Wesson shell case.
Finding the bullet and the shell casing were fairly significant.
The CSI send the evidence to the crime lab for testing. Meanwhile, at the police station, Pamela provides detectives with a thorough, albeit harrowing account of the shooting.
She provided a statement to them at that time indicating that Michael had come home from work. He went right into the bathroom.
I got a knock on the side door.
Pamela says around 4 o'clock on that day, there was a man at the door with a hoodie.
Yes?
He asked for Michael by name. And Pamela kind of assumed that this must be a friend of Mike's.
And that's when he pulled out the gun?
The man forced his way inside, put her in a chokehold, and put the gun to her head. The man forced her to tell her where Michael was.
He bursts into the bathroom and just right off the bat shoots Michael point blank. And then once he shoots Michael, he just makes a dash for the door.
Do you have any idea why anybody would want to shoot Michael?
No. Everybody loves Michael.
Pamela said he didn't have any enemies, he didn't hang around the wrong crowd or party with the wrong crowd. So she really wasn't sure who may be coming after him.
Pamela told us that it was a black male, that he had dark clothing on. She said he had a hoodie on, but the hoodie was kind of pulled tight, so she really didn't get an opportunity to view his face.
Is there anything about the killer that was familiar?
I don't know. It all happened so fast.
We also asked Pamela if there was anything unusual about the suspect that make him stand out from the crowd. And there was just nothing she could give us that would make him stand out.
As detectives conclude their interview with Pamela, they receive word from the hospital. Michael Days has passed away.
They get him to the hospital as soon as they can, but when Michael got to the hospital, he was pronounced dead.
Miss Lawson, I just spoke with the hospital.
Is Michael gonna make it?
Unfortunately, there was nothing they could do. The bullet had struck Michael in the chest.
The suspect shot him at point blank range, and it hit the lungs and the heart.
I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Pamela takes the news hard, as does the rest of Michael's family.
It was just turned upside down. We just couldn't understand why. So we was really angry and trying to console each other.
While Michael's family comes to grips with the loss of a second family member to gun violence, detectives return to the crime scene to compare notes with CSIs. They soon realize that the motive behind this home invasion is unclear.
Nothing was taken. When you have a home invasion, the point is to steal something.
This guy came right into the place, asked for Michael, went to Michael, shot him, and left. He didn't search the house. He didn't take anything with him. He came in with the pure intention of shooting and killing Michael, and that's exactly what he did.
What would be the motive for somebody to come into his house and just shoot him? Was he peddling drugs? Did he owe somebody some money?
Like, that didn't make sense to me. That made it the most fishiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Just hours after 31-year-old Michael Days was shot to death in his Cleveland home, detectives are struggling to piece together the motive behind this horrific crime.
Most people that are killed or murdered are not killed by strangers. You know, you're going to go to the extent of killing somebody, that there's got to be a good reason behind it. You look at the people that are the closest to the victim to see if they have any motive. If nothing develops, then it goes on to the second generation of friends, ex-wives, ex-husbands, employers, co-workers, and it just keeps expanding out and out and out until you hit something that strikes gold. And that's what we were doing in this case.
What stood out in this case is just the nature of the crime. Happened 4:10 in the afternoon, right when people would be getting off from work. It's still daylight hours.
Broad daylight doesn't seem like a typical path for someone who's trying to get away with murder.
As darkness falls, detectives start knocking on doors around the neighborhood, hoping to find a witness.
The street that Michael's house is on is it's a mix of commercial and residential properties. One side of the street that Michael lived on was all houses, but directly across the street were some businesses.
They did talk to several neighbors to see if they saw where this person had come from. Was he driving a car? Did he come on bicycle? How did he get away?
See if anybody was out in the street when this happened, if anybody saw anything unusual, heard anything unusual. And really that developed absolutely nothing for us.
Nobody saw or heard anything.
And since it was after 5 o'clock by the time detectives started their canvass, the businesses across the street were even less help.
They weren't open and there were no employees in them at the time for them to speak to.
However, the canvassing effort does unearth one promising lead.
They did notice there were some security cameras on a couple of different businesses in the area.
The next morning, detectives follow up with the businesses in the vicinity, and at a body shop just across the street, they catch their first break.
We're investigating an incident that happened across the street. We were wondering if you noticed anything unusual yesterday. Yeah.
One of the employees noticed something really strange the day of the homicide.
The witness's name is Manny Gonzalez.
I was out on the lot parking a car.
Part of his job is to clean the cars, wipe them down, and move them around and rotate them for service.
I noticed this dude across the street.
Manny says he saw a black male get out of a red Chevy Malibu around 3:40 p.m. that afternoon.
He kind of snoops around and maybe even tries the door handles on Pamela's car.
He saw the man continue to go into the car that was parked at Michael's home and belonged to Pamela. He was rummaging around.
Thought maybe he was trying to steal something. I was thinking about calling the police, but when I came back out, he was gone.
What time was that?
A little bit before 4.
Did you happen to get a good look at him?
Not really. He was wearing a hoodie.
Manny's description matched Pamela's.
You think you could pick him out of a lineup for us? I don't know. I did see the car he drove, though. It was a red Chevy Malibu.
Unfortunately for detectives, Manny never got a chance to jot down the plate number, nor was the plate number captured on the security cameras outside the body shop.
Turns out those cameras were simply for cosmetic purposes. They did not actually function.
But right next door, there was an asphalt business, and there were cameras mounted on that building, and they were working. When we talked to the owner of the business, he was very helpful, and we had him go back in his system and pull up the video.
Back at the station, detectives review the video, and it confirms what Manny Gonzalez told them.
At about 3:45 p.m. on the video, a Chevy Malibu parks and a man wearing a hoodie gets out.
That male got out of his car, walked to Pamela's car, leaned into the car as if he was looking for something.
The suspect rummages around in Pamela's car, and then he goes back to his own car and sits in there for a minute or two.
At that point, the surveillance video captures Michael Days arriving home from work.
On the video, Michael arrives home, exits, goes in the side door of the house. The person in the Malibu sits in his car for a few more minutes. He then exits, goes into the same side door as Michael.
A few minutes later, around 4:04, the man comes back out of the home and leaves.
When he exits the house, he's not running or sprinting, but he is walking at a quick pace.
We're pretty sure that this is the guy who killed Michael.
But who is this mysterious stranger?
Because of the angle and the distance, you could not make out enough detail to identify the person, nor could you see the license plate.
We could identify the make and model of the car, but without a license plate number, we were uncomfortable broadcasting that information because there's so many cars that would have matched that it wouldn't have done us any good.
Detectives do impound Pamela's car, though.
We towed the car and swabbed it and fingerprinted and stuff like that.
With no way to identify the man, detectives comb through Michael Day's background.
In cases like this, the cops are looking to see if Michael had any kind of priors. Drug charges that would indicate he was a dealer, or a user that might have gotten into debt, or maybe an assault charge that would point to someone who had a vendetta against him.
But the search leaves detectives empty-handed.
He did not appear to have any criminal record. There was no evidence he was involved in the narcotics trade or he owed money to anybody.
He was a hard worker. He had 2 jobs. He was trying to support his disabled daughter. Nobody had a bad word to say about him.
My cousin didn't have enemies. Didn't nobody sit there and be like, oh, I beefing with him, I don't like him, he ain't cool. It was mind-boggling.
However, the fact that the suspect had been snooping around Pamela's car makes detectives wonder, could the killer be someone with an axe to grind against her?
Digging through Pamela's background, we discovered that she had been previously married and she reported domestic violence.
Detectives reach out to Pamela again and learn they may have a new suspect on their hands.
Detectives learned that Michael had been the one to help Pamela escape the situation. So he not only helped her leave her ex-husband, Michael had taken his place.
We kind of thought, well, maybe the ex-husband was jealous and seeing Pamela happy with Mike would take it out on Mike and kill him.
November 13th, 2014, 24 hours after Cleveland resident Michael Days was shot and killed in his own home, surveillance video has seemingly confirmed his girlfriend Pamela Lawson's statement that the attack was carried out by a mysterious intruder.
When they actually had a chance to view the video, they saw a black male with a hooded sweatshirt go into the house. He returns back to his car and is seen driving off.
Unfortunately, the video is not close enough, clear enough, or sharp enough to identify the suspect.
Detectives are starting to wonder if the shooter might be Pamela's ex-husband, a man by the name of Rayvon Lewis.
There seemed to be a pattern of domestic violence between her former husband and herself. There were a couple of police reports where he was the named suspect and she was the victim.
If a man was willing to put his hands on a woman, perhaps he was also willing to go as far as kill the new man that she was with.
The history of abuse could also explain why Pamela hadn't identified him as the killer. Perhaps she was too afraid.
With no other suspects, detectives make a priority of tracking down Rayvon Lewis.
We brought him into the station and talked to him and confronted him.
How does it make you feel knowing that Pamela left you for another man?
I didn't care. I was glad to get rid of him.
He said he had no desire to re-engage and re-enter the relationship with Pamela, and he had nothing to do with the murder.
That right. You didn't get jealous and go over there and teach him a lesson? No way, man.
He explained to us that he was working out of town.
Also, he doesn't drive a Chevy Malibu. He drives a SUV.
A quick records check confirms that there's no Chevy Malibu registered to Rayvon Lewis. Rayvon's employer also vouches for his alibi.
Pamela's ex-husband was in fact out of town and working at the time the homicide was committed.
They could not place him at the time of the murder and the day of the murder at the home. So he definitely was not a suspect.
Back at square one, detectives begin to wonder if they're looking at the wrong ex.
Police look at Michael's ex, which is the mother of his daughter, to find out if maybe she was a plausible suspect.
Digging a little deeper into his background, detectives discover that Michael had split with the mother of his daughter not long after the little girl was born severely disabled.
Having a daughter with a disability unfortunately proved to be too much, and she ended up leaving them.
One of the other things that we considered and that we looked into was possibly now she wanted back in or she wanted custody of the daughter.
Unfortunately, sometimes with custody battles, that gives reason and motive for one parent to perhaps want to harm or even kill the other parent.
But when detectives track down Maya, she seems genuinely heartbroken by the news of Michael's death.
He didn't deserve it. All he ever wanted to do was take care of his daughter. Our daughter.
Do you have any idea who might want him dead?
No, everyone loved Michael.
Maya also had an airtight alibi at the time of the crime.
It appears that the investigation has reached an impasse. But then, on November 16th, detectives receive an anonymous call that breaks the case wide open.
The caller informed police that Michael had been involved in a sexual relationship with one of his coworkers.
A coworker named Sherry Parsons.
This raises a lot of red flags for police, and it gives them one more avenue to look into.
Maybe this woman had a jealous boyfriend or husband.
Determined to find out the truth, detectives bring Sherry Parsons in for questioning. Sherry seems genuinely distraught over Michael's death.
I can't believe this. Like, really, he was supposed to come over. I was just thinking about him, and then I find that out.
Sherry admits her relationship with Michael started as friends carpooling to work together, but eventually led to something more.
She admitted to us that about a week before Michael was killed, they developed a romantic relationship.
On the Friday night before Michael's murder, he and Sherry went out drinking, and they came back to her place and had sex. They made arrangements for the following week for Michael to come over.
But since Michael was murdered the day before, his second rendezvous with Sherry never happened.
There's any man in your life that would have done this to him?
I don't see how anybody could want him dead. But we talked a lot. You know what I mean? Like, so I know some things about their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
According to Sherry, Michael and Pamela's living arrangement wasn't as copacetic as it seemed.
She began to shed some light on the fact that they were having problems and that they argued all the time.
And Michael had shared with Sherry that he was thinking about ending the relationship with Pamela.
After finishing up with Sherry, detectives begin to wonder if Pamela might have something to do with Michael's murder after all.
So that kind of heightened the awareness, because in any homicide case, you know, there's a circle, and who is closest to the person that is now dead. So she, of course, would have been a person of interest.
Does Pamela find out about Michael and his carpool partner, and does she now have something that's motivating her to do away with him?
But before detectives can investigate further, they receive an urgent call from Manny Gonzalez, the man who'd originally identified the red Chevy Malibu the killer had been driving the day of the murder.
He said this is the same car that was here the day of the murder, and now he's back.
It's November 23rd, 2014, more than a week after the murder of Michael Days, and detectives have just received word that the suspected shooter, the hooded man in the red Chevy Malibu, has returned to the scene of the crime.
Manny Gonzalez, the witness who first spotted the shooter, was working at the body shop across the street from Michael's house when he noticed the red Malibu parked on the street.
He was able to get the missing license plate number that the police could not get off the video.
When detectives run the plate, the red Chevy Malibu comes back registered to a man named Lakev Spivey.
Lakev Spivey is 22 years old. He has a fiance and a 1-year-old daughter, and they live together in the fiance's mom's basement.
We did some background investigation on Lakev and found out that he had very little, or if any, criminal history, and we couldn't find any connection to Michael Days.
However, surveillance video clearly places Lakev and his red Malibu at Michael's house at the time of the crime. On December 24th, police finally secure a warrant for his arrest and bring him in without incident.
Do you want to talk to us about this, or would you rather not talk to us about this?
Yeah, I would like to know what's going on, because I have no idea.
You don't know a girl named Pam?
I know somebody named Pam.
He said he did meet a girl named Pamela, but it was a few days after this homicide was committed.
Did she mention anything about her boyfriend being killed?
Yeah, like she told me some things that she was going through or whatnot. And I was just like, damn.
So what did she tell you? Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Well, like what'd she get into with you?
Well, basically she told me that her dude wanted them to get murdered or whatever. And I was like, for real? She was like, yeah. And she keep telling me that she's still shaky about it, that she be having nightmares and shit about it.
It's then that detectives confront LeCav with the surveillance video that places him at the scene of the crime.
And we confronted him about his car being seen in front of the house when the homicide was committed. He just kind of clammed up and, said, I have no idea how my car got there.
This is your opportunity to, if something happened over there that wasn't supposed to happen, that it was supposed to go one way and it went another way, maybe there's some explanation. Or did you just go in there and shoot him in cold blood?
I don't know what happened.
You don't know
I wasn't there.
At the time the homicide was committed, he claimed that he was donating plasma at the plasma center.
When you go to the plasma center, do you sign in and sign out?
No, like first you go in, you go online, and then you get to a computer, and then you just basically answer the questions and all of that after you give them like your birth date and your fingerprint.
Hopefully we can get some information that clues you. Like the plasma bank, we'll check that for you and stuff, okay?
When detectives follow up with the plasma center, LeCav's alibi collapses.
We followed up on that and found that not to be true.
Detectives are now convinced that LeCav Spivey is Michael's killer, but questions remain.
Police still don't know why LeCav would kill Michael, or whether or not Pam had anything to do with it.
At the conclusion of their interview, detectives arrest LeCav Spivey and impound his vehicle.
They got a search warrant. Inside his car was his cell phone. They then obtained a search warrant to search his cell phone.
On Spivey's phone, police find evidence that he's tried to delete numerous text messages, but evidence technicians are able to recover them.
Once police read those messages, the shocking truth about Michael Day's murder will come into focus.
I get a phone call, and Pam tells me, Mom, I've been arrested. And I said, for what? Murder. And I said, what? I couldn't believe it.
Following the arrest of LeCav Spivey for the brutal murder of single father Michael Days, detectives with the Cleveland PD secure a warrant to search his cell phone.
Detectives are hoping for some insight into Spivey's connection to Michael's girlfriend, Pamela Lawson, and whether she had something to do with the murder.
We looked at Pamela, as we do in every case. You look at the people that are the closest to the victim, to see if they have any motive, for this person being killed. We checked, to see if there was a life insurance policy, that Pamela might benefit from, or that the kids might have benefited from, and there was none. But some suspicious text messages between LeCav and Pamela are recovered.
So as a result of that, the homicide detectives decided that it was time to bring her in.
There's some things that caught our attention that we need sort of an explanation for from you.
Okay.
Put on the spot by detectives, Pamela admits that she knows LeCav Spivey.
She went to the dollar store. He was working there. That's how they met.
He started flirting with me. And I flirted with him. I talked to him. I said, I do have a boyfriend, but I could be friends with you.
Pamela tells police that she and LeCav quickly became friends and confidants.
How far to go?
Just us texting back and forth. He was telling me his problems about his baby mama. I tell him my problems about Mike.
Pamela specifically mentions problems that included Michael's infidelity.
It wasn't about the other broad. It's just him being disrespectful to me, period.
Pamela said that the cheating wasn't the only way that Michael had disrespected her either.
She said, Mom, Mike, he told me he just used me to take care of his daughter, and he called her names.
No, you know what? I can't even.
You're not finna put your hand in my face. Pound!
Mike would come in and take things out on her and hit her, and she was upset over him hitting her.
She was tired of being physically and verbally abused. Pamela began to complain to LeKev about her boyfriend.
He's like, why are you with him? I'm like, because I love him and I care for him.
In fact, Pamela said she was desperate to hold on to Michael, that if she could figure out some way to show Michael what a catch she was, he'd see the error of his ways.
I wanted Mike, somebody slap some sense into him so he knows what he had at home.
Pamela says that's when she turned to her new friend LeKev for help.
I told him I wanted Mike to be here. He asked me why. And I told him, Mike's just saying all this stuff. I just wanted him to know what he had at home. He told me that he could beat him up.
However, Pamela tells police that when LeKev showed up to do the deed, she had second thoughts.
Pamela claims that on the day of the murder, she tried to persuade him to leave, just call the whole thing off.
I changed my mind. We don't have to do this.
Where is he?
You don't have to go through with it. We could just call the whole...
Pamela claims this is when LeKev pulled out the gun and pushed his way into the house.
He did have a gun to my head and he told me he was going to kill me and my kids.
That's when LeKev proceeded to go into the bathroom and murder Michael in cold blood.
Pam tried to paint herself as the victim.
However, there is one problem with Pamela's story.
LeKev and Pamela exchanged text messages where LeKev asked Pamela, what do you want me to do?
She goes, oh, go ahead and shoot him.
The text messages lead authorities to an inescapable conclusion.
Somebody thought out this plan to kill Michael Days, and that would be Pamela Lawson.
Though Pamela denies sending the incriminating text messages, detectives waste no time booking her on murder charges.
Law is pretty clear that the planner is equally as responsible as the person pulling the trigger.
But it isn't until May of 2015, as the prosecutors are preparing for trial, that they learn why LeKev had gone along with Pamela's plan in the first place.
We brought him back in at the request of the prosecutor to get a more detailed account of the events.
After sitting in jail for several months, LeKev is ready to cooperate. He not only admits that he killed Michael, he reveals why.
I would go over there early in the morning before I would go to work.
The relationship was more sexual and had been going on for much longer than either Pam or LeKev had previously admitted.
And he was not sex.
He did this for a sexual relationship with her. He didn't get paid no money.
LeKev claims that it was only after the relationship turned sexual that Pamela suggested he kill Michael.
Do this for me.
He just constantly kept bringing it up. The shots and well, would you kill him for me? I was like, hell no. And then after a while, I guess we just, let's say, fuck it. Okay, that's how I do it.
According to LeKev, the plan had one hitch.
He told Pamela, I don't have a gun. She said, I'll get a gun. I'll hide it in my car. That coincides with what we see on the video. He indicated he pulled up, got out of the car, reached in, took the firearm out.
LeKev goes back to his car. Now he's concerned, I don't want to do this. You want me to shoot him or just scare him? And Pamela says, I don't care. Just go ahead and shoot him.
LeKev then waits in the car for Michael to come home. Michael arrives, and LeKev waits a few minutes longer and meets Pamela at the door.
LeKev states that once he was inside, Pamela led him to the bathroom, where Michael was completely unaware of what was about to transpire.
Come on.
He looked at me and asked me, what is this? And I was so nervous and scared that my body just shook. Like I just tensed up and my finger pulled the trigger.
LeKev goes on to say that he continued to hook up with Pamela for a while after the murder, but things just weren't the same.
As I really started to actually see like the kind of person that she was, and I wasn't liking what I was saying. Really? Yeah. I was just like, wow.
To authorities, LeKev's version of events rings true.
She groomed this LeKev Spivey. She knew he was probably a little bit weak. she had sex with him and says, I need your help. It was pretty manipulative on her part and pretty calculated, giving him the exact same time that he was coming home and where he would be. And then the fact that the whole pretend thing that he took her as a hostage, put a gun to her head, and then shot him in point blank range. I mean, that's pretty brazen behavior.
She had him whipped. I mean, Lord, I'm 62 years old, but I ain't never had no encounter that strong.
Ain't no pussy that good. I, for the life of me, couldn't even think why a complete stranger would want to kill a complete stranger unless you're a sociopath.
Whatever his motivation, Lakev Spivey pleads guilty to the charges against him and agrees to testify against Pamela.
As a result of that, he got the 28 years to life.
With the threat of Lakev's testimony hanging over her, Pamela Lawson seeks a plea deal of her own.
The evidence was overwhelming. I mean, had they gone to trial, it would have been an exercise in futility. You start adding it up. I mean, any jury would have seen what happened that day. And the sympathy factor for the deceased person would have been great because there were children in the house. I mean, you either believed Lakev Spivey or you didn't. What did he have to lie about?
Based on the plea bargain, the judge sentenced Pamela to a life sentence where she would be eligible for parole after 33 years.
Upon learning that Pamela will one day be eligible for parole, Michael's family is overcome with anger.
You just live this all the way out. Just stay there and suffer. We suffer because we ain't got Michael J no more.
But perhaps no one has suffered more in the wake of Michael's murder than his daughter.
It hurts me that my great niece is in silence with this pain. Can't speak, but she has some emotional feelings that she don't even understand. Michael's mom, she's given up on life now because both of her sons are gone. And she says she don't have anything to live for.
Perhaps the thing that haunts Michael's family most is the fact that Michael welcomed Pamela into his home in order to rescue her from an abusive relationship.
He bought a house. He was taking care of them. He made a living so that that woman and her kids and his daughters could all survive this world.
I can't hug him no more. Can't joke with him no more. I just can't have the fullness that I had when he was here. The laughter that we had. I miss those days.
A kidney transplant survivor gets a new lease on life and love.
He saw a second chance, and it was just life-changing for him. He really loved being with her, and he felt that they really clicked.
They both looked at life like you only live once.
Words that would prove darkly prophetic when their budding romance is torn apart by a horrific crime.
911, what is the emergency?
My son, they robbed him and beat him up. Just not sure if he's okay.
Is he breathing?
He's cold. He's cold. He's cold.
This was a violent crime scene. There was obviously a struggle.
I said, oh my God, my people.
As detectives hunt for the assailant, disturbing truths are dragged into the light.
They were vying for the same girl.
To solve the mystery, they'll have to expose a plot for revenge that's as ruthless as it is twisted.
She implied she would have people take care of him.
How can you predict something like that?
December 5th, 2014. It's a cold Friday evening in Silver Spring, Maryland, and residents are just beginning to arrive home from the daily grind.
The community that we live in is a very safe neighborhood.
As working mother Patricia Harris pulls into her driveway, she notices the car belonging to her 26-year-old son, Jonathan, is still parked out front.
Her adult son, Jonathan Harris, lives in a basement apartment connected to her home.
I was a little surprised because he usually go to where he worked as a pizza delivery man.
Hey, Jonathan, I thought you were at work. Well, I see your car outside, but it doesn't look like you're home. I was just making sure everything is okay. I love you, sweetie.
He had health issues, and the kind of mother Pat is, she was always there and always nurturing him.
Though they lived just a few feet away from each other, Patricia made sure to respect Jonathan's privacy and independence.
He was an adult. She gave him space.
she tried to make it a habit never to go to his apartment uninvited or without contact.
But as the night drags on with no word from Jonathan, Patricia's worries continue to mount.
I called again. I called all night long.
He wasn't responding, and she knew that something was wrong. That was not like him.
Maybe it's a health issue.
By 10:30 a.m. the next morning, Patricia still hasn't heard from Jonathan.
I said, all bets are off. I'm going down, and he's going to have to deal with me.
At the bottom of the stairs, Patricia finds her son's apartment door slightly ajar.
John? Jonathan, are you in there?
As she pushes it open, Patricia comes face to face with every parent's worst nightmare.
I found him on the floor. I said, oh my God, my baby.
There was a small pool of blood on the floor where he had been lying. It looked like there was a robbery that had taken place.
It is quite apparent that there has been some form of a struggle that has occurred. It's pretty apparent to her that someone has come in, left the door ajar, and removed multiple items from his apartment.
I called 911.
Montgomery County 911, what is the emergency?
My son, he's fallen into a rock and beat him up. That's not sure. If he's okay, please just don't okay.
As paramedics and police rush to the scene, Patricia's mind begins to race.
I could not believe it. I kept praying.
My mother didn't know what happened. Who would do that to him?
What happened? Who did it? All I cared about is what happened to Jonathan.
Jonathan Harris grew up in a warm and loving household with his mother Patricia and older brother Lloyd.
The three of us lived in the same house and we had this bond. My mother is my everything. My brother was my everything. A lot of love in our house.
Though small in stature, Jonathan charmed everyone with his larger-than-life personality.
My brother was the star of the cul-de-sac. People didn't even call me by my name. I was Jonathan's brother.
He made everybody feel like they're the greatest thing that ever happened. Whenever he would meet someone, it wasn't long before they were Jonathan's friends.
My mother was Jonathan's mother. I would be sent to look for him. I'd have to knock on all the doors. And of course, he'd be right in someone's house, like eating dinner, just carrying on. He was just the funnest.
He loved to dance, just randomly outbursts. He would just do a moonwalk.
He knew how to bring the best out of people because he was the best at being himself.
Not that life had always been easy for Jonathan. At the tender age of 12, doctors diagnosed him with kidney failure.
The doctor found out that Jonathan was born with one kidney and that it had failed.
Though Jonathan had seemed like a healthy, normal kid, in hindsight, there had been clues to his condition.
Some days he was fine, but then other days I could see the fluid accumulating in his body.
When we found out about his kidney issues, as we look back, there was symptoms and clues there the whole time. He was always very frail. He was the smallest kid in class. You just chalk it off as like, oh, he's just maturing slower than everyone.
In the time it had taken to diagnose Jonathan, his condition had rapidly declined.
It was like 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. One moment he was sick and the next moment he was dying. I just remember that day so vividly. I had to carry him and put him in the back seat. And I'd never seen him so frail and defenseless and weak. And I did everything I could just to not break down.
I looked at Jonathan hooked up to this big machine. And I said, God, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And I need you to take care of this for me. I give it over to you.
Thankfully, Jonathan's condition stabilized. And after 2 years of dialysis, he finally received a transplant from his own brother.
He said, I'm going to give him a kidney.
As someone who loves him more than anything else in this world, if there's something I can do, I'm going to do it.
I was shocked, but that's that bond from the childhood that the two of them had.
It wasn't even a decision that was made. It just was something that I knew I needed to do. I would hope that's what anyone would do if they saw someone they loved in a situation like that. I remember coming home from the hospital and he's running around the house and he went outside to play and it's like it never happened. I was also super happy for him because he had been wanting that for so long. It was awesome. He made up for all the sleepovers he couldn't go to because he has his dialysis. He came to visit me in New York, and man, we tore that city up. He killed life. He killed it.
Unfortunately, the family's happiness was short-lived. 4 years later, during Jonathan's senior year, the kidney Lloyd had given him began to fail.
It went into rejection and they couldn't turn it around. And the only thing Jonathan could think of was, Mom, how am I going to tell Lloyd? I said, well, John, you just got to tell him. It's no big deal. So he called Lloyd and he said, Lloyd, I lost your kidney.
I think he felt bad because he lost it, and I told him I don't care.
Though the news was heartbreaking, Jonathan never let his situation get his spirits down.
He'd already ordered his cap and gown because, he was a senior.
Walking across the stage was really important for Jonathan. He wanted to finish high school.
He could barely walk. He was frail, but he got to walk. That just sort of symbolized that he was like everyone else, and I think he needed that.
When he marched across that stage, there wasn't a dry eye in my family.
There's a picture of him with his best friend, Mark, and he is just the biggest smile I've ever seen.
Ultimately, after years of dialysis and surgeries to salvage the transplanted kidney, Jonathan's mother found another way to save her son.
Hey, Mom. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I do my research, and I found out about the kidney exchange. So I went to the doctor.
His mother donated in what was at the time the biggest kidney swap in the history of the United States, where 16 recipients and 16 donors swapped kidneys.
They tested me, they tested Jonathan, and they went through that whole process of matching individuals.
My mother gave some random stranger her kidney, and some random woman gave my brother a kidney. It was a success.
In a matter of months, he really became just like all his friends.
Now 22 years old, Jonathan was finally healthy and thriving.
He had a job. He went to school. It was just amazing.
During that time, Jonathan began to yearn for more independence.
He still was on a lot of medication, and my mother, she needed to be around.
His mother came up with the solution that they would make a basement apartment for him.
Patricia and Jonathan established boundaries so he'd have plenty of privacy.
The rule was, if you want to come down, Mom, you call. If I say this is not the time, you don't come.
She was able to do that for him so he can have his own space, so he can have his friends over, so he can have his own little parties.
With a space of his own, Jonathan could also focus on his creative passion, rap music.
Jonathan was really into music, making music. He'd write about everything from girls to his history, his story. He had a real story, he came from a real struggle. His music was his outlet to really say what he was thinking. Maybe that's why he got so deep into making music. It was because that was his therapy. And when I would listen back on some of the music, it was all these things that I didn't know. And I thought he told me everything. He was going to open mic nights and performing wherever he could.
3 years later, with his own apartment, a steady job, and a clean bill of health, Jonathan's future was brighter than ever. There was just one thing missing.
He really wanted to find a person who he can just enjoy life with.
That's what any normal person wants at that time in their life. He deserves someone.
And when a mutual friend introduced Jonathan to gorgeous and outgoing 25-year-old Samantha Parker, it was as if Jonathan had been hit by Cupid's arrow.
When they met, they vibed very well. They just clicked.
You are gorgeous.
Thank you.
From the beginning, Jonathan was captivated by Samantha's joie de vivre.
They both looked at life like you only live once.
She was really on the edge and really adventurous.
Like Jonathan, Samantha had also overcome a difficult childhood.
Samantha and her mom didn't necessarily get along too well. And so that kind of mother-daughter relationship was very estranged in a sense. So and her father, they weren't as close as far as I remember. So that mother-daughter and that father-daughter relationship just wasn't there.
And in the spring of 2014, after less than a year of dating, Jonathan asked Samantha to take the next big step in their relationship.
Samantha actually moved in with Jonathan. He saw a future with Samantha and that she may be the one going forward.
He really loved her, and he would do anything for her.
But the discovery of Jonathan's lifeless body has brought his budding relationship with Samantha to a tragic end. And when the truth of who killed Jonathan is revealed, it will be equally as horrifying.
It's devastating. It's crazy. Still shook about it.
After a lifetime of health problems, 26-year-old Maryland native Jonathan Harris had survived not one, but 2 kidney transplants.
He was about achieving. He was about making it happen. It's like he started to live when that second kidney started to work.
And with a steady job, a place of his own, and his girlfriend Samantha Parker by his side, life was good.
She's beautiful and she cares about him. She was everything he always wanted.
But on December 5th, 2014, Jonathan's life is cut short in unimaginable fashion.
Montgomery County 911, what is the emergency?
My son really robbed him and beat him up. Just next to it. If he's okay, please just okay.
Is he breathing?
He's cold. He's cold. He's cold.
First responders rushed to the scene. When they arrived, they discovered Jonathan on the ground, motionless and unresponsive.
EMTs assessed Jonathan's vitals and he doesn't have any.
They said, Miss Harris, we hate to tell you this, but he didn't make it. I could not believe it. All I wanted to do was kiss him, kiss him, kiss him. But I couldn't touch him.
As Jonathan's body is transported to the medical examiner's office, homicide detectives arrive on the scene and are brought up to speed. Meanwhile, news of Jonathan's death begins to spread.
This was someone who I knew since I was 10. My best friend was taken from me. It's devastating. It's crazy.
I just was lost in that moment. I lost the most important person to me.
There was obviously a struggle.
There was pooling of blood inside his eyeballs consistent with asphyxiation.
Been basically strangled or smothered.
Judging by the apartment's state of disarray, robbery seems like the obvious motive.
You could see that a TV had been pulled off a wall in the living room. The bedroom had been rummaged through.
This is either some kind of burglary or robbery in connection with the murder.
Had Jonathan Harris truly been the victim of a random burglary? Or was the attack more personal in nature?
There was no forced entry into the residence. It suggests that Jonathan knew the person or the person had access to Jonathan's apartment.
But who among Jonathan's friends and neighbors would have any reason to attack him?
We didn't know why anyone would want to hurt Jonathan.
To better answer that question, investigators turned to Jonathan's grieving mother, Patricia Harris.
Mrs. Harris, sorry to bother you, but in order to find out what happened to Jonathan, we need to ask you a few questions.
I want to do whatever I can.
Can you think of anyone that would want to hurt Jonathan?
No, not at all. Everybody loved Jonathan. He was a good boy.
She described her son as well-loved, lots of friends.
Very caring, very generous, very nice person. This is a guy who just did not have enemies.
She couldn't imagine why anybody would want to do him harm.
Detectives pressed Patricia for more information about his personal life.
Did Jonathan have a girlfriend?
Yes, his girlfriend, Samantha. Well, she was his girlfriend anyways.
What do you mean was?
That's when Jonathan's mother offers up a piece of information about her son that not even his closest friends were aware of. Information that adds a new wrinkle to the case.
She moved in here with Jonathan and then she moved out after they broke up.
When was that?
About 2 weeks ago. Came as a shock to me. He seemed happy. But Jonathan just said it was one of those things.
Jonathan said they had gone their separate ways. The relationship had run its course.
Do you know Samantha's contact info?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Patricia says that as part of their agreement to give Jonathan his space, she didn't interact with Samantha unless invited.
He introduced me. He told me that she was moving in, but I'm trying to treat my son like a man. I saw her one time in about 3 months.
Detectives know the next step to understanding what happened to Jonathan is tracking down Samantha Parker.
A lot of times detectives look into significant others first because they can offer some sort of insight into their lives that no one else can. Also, the significant other may have an axe to grind.
Maybe she was involved, or maybe she knew about some trouble Jonathan had with someone.
Without a phone number or address for Samantha, law enforcement has difficulty finding her.
They were hoping they could track her down by checking in with some of Jonathan's friends.
While patrol officers reach out to Jonathan's friends for more intel on Samantha Parker, detectives ask Jonathan's mother to help them determine exactly what's missing from her son's apartment.
The first thing that I remember was his TV, his gaming system, and his cell phone. I don't think he had his wallet on.
The fact that Jonathan's wallet is missing provides a potential lead for detectives.
If his wallet's not there, then we want to start looking into bank information to see if, since he's been discovered, has his card been used.
All right. Thank you, Miss Harris. We really appreciate your cooperation.
Detectives radio into headquarters and request a subpoena for Jonathan's credit card records. Back outside, a young man approaches officers.
Excuse me, officer. Yes, sir. Can I help you? My name is Mark Newitt. I'm friends with Jonathan.
I actually saw ambulance and police tape outside around his house. I didn't know what was going on. Neighbors were saying that Jonathan had been killed.
Mark says he's a close friend of Jonathan's.
I was just really in disbelief that one of my best friends had passed away.
But it's what Mark says next that piques investigators' interest.
Is there anybody that I can talk to? Because I think I know who did it. Let me get a detective. Stay right here for me, okay? Yes, thank you.
I believe that there's a certain person that had a falling out with Jonathan, and I believe that they had a motive.
Mark tells detectives he doesn't think that the crime was a robbery gone bad, but rather the brutal byproduct of a love triangle gone horribly awry.
I said this is the person that may have involvement in Jonathan's death.
Detectives in Silver Spring, Maryland are just hours into the investigation of the brutal home invasion murder of 26-year-old Jonathan Harris. Their initial theory is that Jonathan was killed in a robbery gone wrong, and that Jonathan likely knew his assailant.
Police realized whoever robbed Jonathan also took his credit cards.
We start looking into bank information to see if people are out using a stolen credit card.
However, just as investigators begin working the robbery angle, Jonathan's friend, Mark Newey, has shown up at the crime scene and claims to have information that may contradict this theory.
Officer says that you may know what happened to Jonathan.
I think so. There's this old friend of ours that got into an argument with Jonathan about a year ago.
I was thinking that this friend had something to do with Jonathan's death.
Police start talking to Jonathan's friend and find out there was this one guy, Dwayne Carter, and both of them were vying for the same girl, and there was some tension there.
He was one of our close friends growing up. They had a disagreement over a certain girl, and I know that they didn't get along after they had that disagreement.
The girl was named Sheena Coleman.
Jonathan was basically being friendly with her like he was with everyone, but Dwayne wasn't having it.
According to Mark, one day in 2013, things got extra heated between Dwayne and Jonathan.
Hey, Harris, better stay away from Sheena. Dwayne, chill, man. All right, we just friends. That's it. I'm not playing. We're just friends. I'm dead serious. Stay away from Sheena or you'll regret it. Okay, Dwayne. Believe that, okay?
After that incident, Jonathan didn't talk to her. He just wanted to stay out of it.
Since Samantha had entered Jonathan's life not long after that, Mark assumed the incident between him and Dwayne Carter was old news. But now that Jonathan has been murdered, Mark wonders if Dwayne had finally made good on his threats.
I believe that he had a motive to hurt Jonathan. I said this is the person that may have involvement in Jonathan's death.
After speaking with Mark Newey, uniformed officers fan out across Silver Spring in search of Dwayne Carter. Back at the station, with a subpoena for Jonathan's bank records approved, detectives begin scrubbing through recent transactions on his accounts.
Wait a minute. Credit card was used on the day he was murdered.
We see on December 5th, At like 10:17, his card was used in Frederick at a gas station.
But without an established time of death, it's impossible to know whether this transaction was made by Jonathan or his killer.
His mother last talked to him on Friday, December 5th in the morning.
His body's discovered on the 6th, so we don't know the precise moment that his life ends.
To determine whether or not it was Jonathan who used the credit card, detectives head to the gas station in nearby Frederick and ask the manager to pull surveillance footage.
And we're right there. It is immediately apparent to investigators that Jonathan Harris was not the person using that credit card.
The guy in the video was over 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and Jonathan was around 5'7", and he had a smaller frame. It just didn't seem like the same person.
But that's not all.
The surveillance then shows an African-American female exit the SUV.
She's dressed with knee-high boots, a black jacket, and she's carrying a Redskins purse, which was pretty distinctive.
Both return to the same vehicle and take off.
The video of the two suspects provides police with their best lead yet. This also allows investigators to pinpoint the time when Jonathan was actually murdered.
Jonathan last spoke to his mother at 8:32 a.m., and the transaction is at 10:17 a.m. It takes approximately an hour to get to the gas station in Frederick from the Harris residence. So I would say that this occurred 9:17, 9:20.
Even though financial transactions and security video have enabled investigators to determine Jonathan's time of death, the identity of the two suspects remains a mystery. So police pulled Dwayne Carter's license photo to compare it to the security footage.
He's not the same person they're seeing in the surveillance video.
But if Dwayne Carter isn't the man in the video, who is?
The investigators are able to identify a tag number associated with this vehicle.
The tag number leads detectives to an individual named Dion Sabatkar.
Detectives then pulled out the driver's license belonging to Dion Sabatkar.
He matches the male seen in the surveillance video.
Detectives wonder if maybe the female passenger is Samantha Parker. After all, they've been looking for her since learning she moved out of Jonathan's apartment 2 weeks prior. But identifying the woman in the video is easier said than done.
Detectives worry if they go talk to Dion that he'll alert the woman and then she'll skip town and then they'll have a harder time trying to identify who she is.
The following morning, detectives decide to put Dion Sabatkar under surveillance.
They were watching to see if Dion attempted to sell any property they suspected he'd stolen from Jonathan's house.
Police also hoped that Dion would eventually make contact with the unknown female suspect from the surveillance video.
Dion Sabatkar never attempts to sell any of the suspected stolen goods, nor does he lead police to the unidentified woman in the video. After 3 days of tailing Dion, detectives try another approach.
We were able to obtain Dion's cell phone records. There's like 50 calls to this number on the day of the murder. So we subpoena that number. We find out it belongs to LaToya Morgan.
Detectives stop in their tracks when they pull a photo of LaToya.
She's the one who's in the video.
This was a critical moment in the investigation. The police now can link the male suspect, the female suspect, and the vehicle in question that was seen on surveillance video.
Detectives are inching closer and closer to solving the murder of Jonathan Harris. Unfortunately, several essential questions still remain unanswered.
Did Jonathan know these two people? It seems like he must have, because there was no forced entry. Why else would he have let these people into his house willingly?
The truth will turn out to be far more sinister than investigators ever imagined, and will ultimately ensnare a mysterious third suspect no one ever saw coming.
That was a puzzle. It makes no sense. I wasn't even trying to process what happened.
How can you predict something like that?
December 13th, 2014. Detectives in Silver Spring, Maryland have been investigating the death of beloved local resident Jonathan Harris.
We're talking to Jonathan's friends. We're trying to figure out his time frame, who he hangs out with. Does he have any problems with anyone? So we can have a direction to go in our investigation.
At first glance, it looked like Jonathan was the victim of a deadly armed robbery. But when Jonathan's mother revealed to police that he and his girlfriend, Samantha Parker, had recently broken up, Samantha instantly became a person of interest.
We said, we're not together anymore. She's not here anymore. And then our lives changed.
Police were trying to find Samantha, but they hadn't been able to track her down at that point. So in the meantime, they tracked down Jonathan's stolen credit cards and uncovered two suspects, Dion Sabaker and LaToya Morgan.
On December 22nd, 3 weeks after Jonathan's murder, detectives secure arrest warrants for Dion and LaToya, along with search warrants for their homes. It doesn't take detectives long to find Dion.
Dion was actually arrested in PG County on an unrelated charge and was transferred from Prince George's County to Montgomery County.
With Dion in custody, detectives set their sights on LaToya.
LaToya Morgan is seen near her residence. She's arrested and brought back to headquarters.
Before interviewing their suspects, detectives initiate a search of Dion's residence and quickly turn up evidence that could potentially tie him to Jonathan's murder.
We were able to retrieve a pair of black and white tennis shoes. They appear to be the same shoes worn in the video surveillance. When we seize them and we analyze them, it turns out that there's a small blood sample on the inner left shoe.
Police are wondering, could this be Jonathan's blood?
Investigators send the shoes out for DNA testing.
The other key piece of evidence that we recovered was a PlayStation.
That was quite significant because Jonathan had a Sony PlayStation 3 stolen from his residence during the robbery murder.
Back at the station, detectives check the PlayStation serial number. It's a match to the one stolen from Jonathan's apartment. However, a subsequent search of LaToya's home fails to uncover forensic evidence connecting her to Jonathan's murder.
All right, LaToya. Do you know Jonathan Harris?
No, I don't.
Tell us about the day of December 5th.
So I needed a ride to a funeral, so I called Dion.
Dion Sabaker could be almost an unofficial cab. He gives people rides in exchange for money. She secures a ride on the date in question, in which he agrees to take her to the area near the funeral.
LaToya says that Dion picked her up early that morning, but he wasn't alone.
LaToya got in a car, and in the car was a woman.
LaToya says she didn't know this woman, but figured she was just another one of Dion's paying customers.
But LaToya tells detectives that it didn't take long to realize the woman was more than just another cab fare.
So I get in the car and there's a girl in the back. She said she wants to get high, so I said, why not? She said she would pay for it.
LaToya admits that she and Dion took the woman up on her offer.
Dion pulled over on a corner where he knew a dealer, and this woman bought them all dippers, which is basically PCP laced marijuana.
LaToya says that after smoking the dipper, she began drifting in and out of consciousness. However, she claims she heard snippets of a conversation between the woman and Dion.
LaToya says they were talking about a guy who the woman knew who lived in a basement apartment, and she was asking Dion to take her over to his place.
She said that she wanted to get some of her property back.
Next thing I know, I pass out. I wake up and we're in some neighborhood and they're getting out the car.
LaToya claims that Dion and the woman were heading toward the door of what appeared to be a basement apartment.
About 15 minutes later, I see Dion coming out and he's holding a TV in his arms and the girl's holding a bag full of stuff.
She did observe them bringing property out of the residence and put it in the back of the car.
It became apparent to LaToya that the credit card they were using and the property they had taken belonged to the guy in the house. And it looked like they had robbed this guy.
So then we left, went to the gas station. And then after the gas station, he took me to the funeral and dropped me off.
As for the other woman in the car, LaToya says she never saw her again.
LaToya really didn't think about what happened until she saw Jonathan's house on the news a few days later. It was then that she confronted Dion, and he more or less admitted to robbing Jonathan, but he never admitted to killing Jonathan.
Thankfully, LaToya isn't done talking, and what she says next will blow the case wide open.
Throughout that time, did Dion ever tell you her name?
It's been nearly 3 weeks since the brutal murder of Jonathan Harris, and investigators are questioning suspect LaToya Morgan. LaToya claims that she stayed in Dion Sabaker's car while he and another woman entered Jonathan's home.
They go into the residence. She doesn't know what transpired inside the residence, but then she observes them coming out of the duffel bag and the large screen TV.
When detectives press LaToya on the unidentified suspect's name, she makes a jaw-dropping revelation.
Did Dion ever tell you her name?
Yes, he did.
What was that?
Samantha?
Detectives believe that the Samantha LaToya is referring to is Jonathan's ex-girlfriend, Samantha Parker, who they've been unable to locate since his murder. With LaToya's statement in tow, detectives in Silver Spring immediately issue a statewide APB for Samantha Parker. While they wait, they turn their attention to Dion Sabatker.
We did interview him, but he elected not to give a statement.
With Dion refusing to talk, finding Samantha becomes more important than ever. Thankfully, Samantha and Jonathan's friend, Farron Conward, comes forward with new information.
We interviewed Farron Conward, and what I learned from Farron is that she actually introduced Jonathan to Samantha. She has known Samantha for a long time.
They really vibed off of music and they liked the same things. They were both risk takers. They loved the same movies. They just clicked.
But Farron says she tried to dissuade Jonathan from pursuing Samantha.
Farron had tried to warn Jonathan about Samantha. She let him know that Samantha could be a lot of fun, but she was also very self-destructive, and she was into a lot of hardcore drugs.
At first, Farron believed that Jonathan heeded her advice. But she learned the truth a few weeks later when she saw the couple together.
Jonathan and Samantha dated secretly without me even knowing.
They didn't share it with her because Jonathan knew what she would say.
It wasn't right. She wasn't the one.
She knew Samantha to be someone who continuously took advantage of people, and she had her own concerns about Jonathan being taken advantage of.
She would get Mr. Harris to buy her a cell phone and pay for the bill every month.
If you ask Jonathan, they were dating. Samantha tended to look at Jonathan more as, I have somewhere to stay.
It also appeared that Samantha had been hiding her drug habit from Jonathan. She seemed like this fun-loving girl who liked to drink and have fun, but really she was on much harder drugs than alcohol.
According to Farron, things only got worse when Samantha was arrested and charged with theft.
He would visit her often, and I remember him coming to my house like 2 o'clock in the morning, just talking about how he wishes that she would just do better and how he was going to help her.
Farron tells police that after Samantha's release from jail in April 2014, she continued her wild ways. This time, Jonathan seemed to have had enough.
I remember Jonathan calling me. He's getting more and more frustrated with her because she's still living that lifestyle that got her in jail in the first place.
According to Farron, the last straw came in November of 2014 when Jonathan discovered that Samantha had been using drugs inside his apartment.
What is this? Samantha, I told you couldn't be doing this in my house.
Or what? You gonna get your mommy to come down here and spank me?
Samantha, she's the type of person that doesn't like to be told what to do.
Pack your stuff and get out. It's over.
He felt as though she wasn't going to change. She wasn't trying to be a better person.
Farron also tells police that on the heels of the breakup with Samantha, Jonathan's murder did seem suspicious, but she was too shaken up to put two and two together.
I couldn't make sense out of anything. I was in shock.
But Farron states what prompted her to come forward was a conversation she just remembered. One she had with Samantha less than 48 hours before Jonathan's murder.
Samantha Parker felt that she had been treated unfairly and being thrown out of that apartment.
She implied that she could make things happen, that she could have people take care of him.
Samantha is a vengeful person, but I didn't think that she would go to that far of an extent.
With Farron Conward's statement in tow, investigators are now certain that Samantha Parker is responsible for the murder of Jonathan Harris. Thankfully, detectives have been able to track down where Samantha is staying, and later that day, they arrest her at a friend's apartment.
We ended up arresting Samantha on December 22nd.
Back at the station, detectives confront Samantha with LaToya Morgan's statement, as well as that of her friend, Farron Conward.
Tell me about the day of his murder.
Samantha admitted that she and Dion went to Jonathan's house to collect her belongings on December 5th, but said she never had any intention on robbing or killing Jonathan at all.
What happened to Jonathan? How did he die?
Look, I didn't get out the car. Dion and LaToya went inside. I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
She says she never got out of the car. She never went in the residence.
Samantha claimed Dion and LaToya were the ones who killed Jonathan because they went inside the house while she waited outside.
Detectives aren't buying Samantha's story.
That just doesn't make sense because Jonathan doesn't know Dion or LaToya, so why would he even open the door for them? What would make sense would be if Samantha walked up to the residence and he was like, oh, it's Samantha, and opened the door.
Given the stolen items, the use of the credit card, the blood on Dion's shoes, the statement from LaToya, the fact that they were all there during the time of Jonathan's death was enough for detectives to throw the book at all three suspects.
On December 23rd, 18 days after Jonathan Harris's death, police charged LaToya Morgan, Dion Sabatkar, and Samantha Parker with burglary, conspiracy to commit burglary, and first-degree murder. When news of Samantha's arrest reaches Jonathan's friends and family, they're relieved.
He'd give you the shirt off his back. I think he just gave his shirt to the wrong person.
The mere fact that she would do something so cruel to murder him like that and to leave his body on the floor like that, it's crazy.
But will Jonathan's friends and family ever see Samantha and her alleged co-conspirators face justice? Or will a bizarre twist derail the trials before they even begin?
Damn it, I want you in trial. I want you to hear what you did. I want you to hear the pain that you caused.
Police in Silver Spring, Maryland have charged 3 suspects in the murder of Jonathan Harris, LaToya Morgan, Dion Sabatkar, and Jonathan's ex-girlfriend, Samantha Parker.
It was Samantha Parker's idea that they go to this home to take items that are in the home because she had been kicked out of that apartment.
Proving Samantha was the ringleader will require prosecutors to rely on the testimony of several key witnesses, none more important than Samantha's co-defendant, LaToya Morgan.
LaToya Morgan's testimony was critical. She, through counsel, was able to secure a plea agreement.
LaToya pleads guilty to accomplice after the fact and receives a sentence of 5 years in exchange for her testimony.
She was able to provide critical information that linked Samantha and Dion to Jonathan.
LaToya's testimony, coupled with a lengthy evidence list, has prosecutors feeling confident heading into the trials of Dion Sabatkar and Samantha Parker. But in December 2015, 3 months before the proceedings are scheduled to begin, a shocking turn of events rocks the case.
Samantha Parker died of brain cancer.
When she went into custody, no one knew that she had any kind of illness. Very shortly after being diagnosed, she passed away. It was upsetting to us to not be able to bring everyone to justice who was involved in this crime.
I was angry that she died before the trial. She needed to hear what she did, because I don't think she understood.
When I heard that she had passed, I felt exactly the same as I did before hearing as I did after. That was the moment when I realized there was no moving on. There's only learning to live with this.
Thankfully, Dion Sabatkar is more than healthy enough to stand trial. On March 2nd, 2016, prosecutors present their opening arguments.
The state believes that Samantha Parker and Dion Sabatkar entered Jonathan Harris's apartment with every intent to rob him of his belongings.
Get the TV and the gangsters.
Jonathan may have put up a fight.
Whoa. Hey, yo, dog, where you going?
Prosecutors argued that Dion and Samantha, being under the influence of PCP, altered their mental state and likely intensified the situation.
Jonathan is diminutive in size. Sabatkar's substantially big, stronger man who could have easily, physically overpowered Jonathan.
He was ultimately strangled by Dion Sabatkar with the help, possibly, of Samantha Parker.
Prosecutors claim that in addition to choking Jonathan, Samantha and Dion also beat him.
Go get the rest of the stuff.
There was some blood as a result of the beating and the struggle that took place.
They then take exactly what they came for, his belongings, his money, his wallet, and they leave together.
The physical evidence collected inside Dion's apartment, along with LaToya Morgan's testimony, make for a rock-solid case.
One bingo in this case was a pair of shoes. And on those shoes, there's a drop of blood. And that drop of blood, through DNA testing, comes back belonging to our victim, Jonathan.
There's no other explanation as to why Jonathan's DNA would be on Dion's shoe, unless he was inside the residence.
The jury convicted him relatively quickly, and he was found guilty of first-degree murder.
Judge said 40 years to life. The district attorneys had prepared me for 25, 30, but he said 40. I was like, whoa.
After handing down Dion's sentence, the judge takes time to acknowledge that Jonathan Harris lived an extraordinary life.
He said, Miss Harris, I want to tell you, the world has lost a good friend, a loyal and giving individual. The world should have more Jonathans.
Jonathan already endured so much and overcome so much in his short life. And he had such promise. He was so talented, and we don't get to see that or hear it or see where he could go in life.
He was loved by many. He was a special person to a lot of people, and a lot of people are never going to get over that.
His loss is huge, but his legacy is going to live through the people who got to know him.